Hey, what's poppin', fellas? It's Mav, and I am back and better than ever, baby. We have just surpassed 100 subscribers, and I just want to say thanks to each and every one of you wonderful people who have decided to give my small channel a chance. So I know I don't post videos all that much, but one of my old videos blew up and came to my attention. Judging by the title, I'm sure you guys know which one I'm referring to. No, not that one, thank God. Yeah, that one. So because that video garnered so much attention, I wanted to make a follow-up video explaining how Caith's game over slot works, what my experience with it was, and how one can actually exploit the slots. Without further ado, let's get right into this, people. Okay, so before I explain Caith's Sith and that crazy move that allowed me to instantly defeat Emerald Weapon,
Yo!
I should explain how limit breaks work real fast for the people that don't know. If you want to skip this part, go to this timestamp right here. Limit breaks are basically your character's ultimate attack / handy stat boost that can be performed once the limit bar is full. The limit bar will slowly fill up as your character takes damage from enemies, and of course once that bar is maxed out, you have access to the limit break. There are also status effects that change how fast your limit bar fills up, such as Fury and Sadness. Fury fills it up quicker while Sadness fills it up slower. But what's really weird is that every single character in the game has 4 limit breaks, except for Caith's Sith, with a measly 2 limit breaks. Now most of you are probably thinking, only 2 limit breaks? Boo! Not only that, but he betrays the party and is just some lame robot cat. He sucks and other characters outperform him in almost every single category. And to be perfectly honest, I totally understand why so many people ignored this cat. Caith's design combats Vincent, Clouds, and Barrett, just to name a few. He looks as if he belongs in a completely different game. Like, why is he here? But despite there being other objectively better party members to choose from, it's impossible for me to not enjoy Caith's Sith and his wacky slot system. And he's a cat running a big marshmallow. What's there not to love about that? He not only has slots, but he also has the second best magic stat in the game, only being topped by Aerith, making him an excellent mage. And on top of that, a lot of his equipment grants him access to a ton of materia slots. And after defeating Emerald Weapon with Game Over, he will always have a place in my party. And that brings us to our next point of discussion. Just how does Caith's Game Over slot work? Well, to keep it brief, Caith's Sith's second and final limit break is slots. These slots can land on a multitude of positions and can result in a plethora of effects, such as restoring MP and HP, activating a summon, hitting enemies for a lot or a little damage, activating Death Joker, which kills all allies resulting in a game over, and lastly, the game over slot itself that will instantly kill all enemies and pretty much every boss in the game in most situations. The most notable exception to this would be Ruby Weapon during his invulnerability phase. If you try to use Caith's Sith's game over slot to kill Ruby Weapon before Ruby puts his tentacles in the ground, the game over slot will simply just miss. The biggest problem with using slots is that the gamble of landing a game over heavily outweighs the benefit because the outcome is completely random unless you know how the slots work. Let's say you decide to use Caith's Sith and attempt to defeat the all-powerful Emerald Weapon using slots without any exploits. Well, you can land the first 2 slots in Caith's Sith's face without a problem, but let's say you landed the third and final face and you knew for a fact that you landed it correctly because you're an expert at the slots. Well, there is a built-in mechanism to switch the third face to some other slot, including the infamous party-wiping Death Joker, in order to prevent Game Over from coming out because it's so powerful. So on a surface level, it seems like using Caith's Sith is just a complete waste of time. But despite all of that, the stars managed to align, and I somehow landed the Game Over. Honestly, before landing Game Over, Caith was simply my general mage. I never really relied on his slots to land on anything good, and at the time, I thought Game Over would just miss Emerald. Like, to this day, I still find it insane that they would add a super boss killing attack like that. But fast forward a couple years later now, I took the time to watch a few videos and streams, and it turns out you can actually exploit the slots. So as most of you know, there are other occasions where slots are used, such as Tifa's limit break in the battle arena. And since I had Tifa in my party for almost the entire game, it didn't take long for me to realize that you can actually stop the slots by holding the square button on a PlayStation controller while the slots are active, and then hiding the slot on the item right before your desired slot and quickly letting go and pressing X, which is what I did for the latter half of the game. And it's an incredibly useful trick, but what I didn't know for the longest time is that this trick alone will not be enough to give you a game over slot with Caith Sith. To get a game over with Caith Sith, you need to use the square button method I had just explained earlier for the first 2 faces, but on the 3rd slot, you need to line up the option to where it's right before the Caith Sith face while holding square. And when you let go of that square button and press X to land the final face, you need to mash the circle button as hard as you can simultaneously. Basically, what you're doing with this method is bypassing the RNG and forcing the game to accept that you have landed on the final face by canceling out the slots. So pretty much it breaks the game. When I went back and tried this method, it only took me about 15 minutes worth of attempts, so it's really not that hard to do. You all can go and try it yourself. But what was my experience with these slots, aside from what was in the video, you might be asking? Well, before fighting the weapons, my Twitch chat at the time recommended me to level up to 99 and bring all the best equipment, summons, items, and what have you to this fight. Unfortunately, 49 of those viewers that helped me beat the game and teach me tricks weren't present for when I actually fought Emerald. Thank you, Dark, for actually being there when I defeated him with game over. I spent hours dying to Emerald and throwing out whatever item or ability I could come up with, hoping something would stick. And after making this video, I plan to go back and fight Emerald again without Caith Sith slots to see if I can actually beat this fight. While I beat Ruby, I never fought Emerald again after defeating him with game over, so maybe I'll stream the fight a second time without Caith Sith. After all, I'm not really the greatest at the game, and I only learned whatever my friends/viewers taught me at the time. And after seeing comments from my video telling me about using Mime and other strategies to defeat Emerald, I think I'll give it another shot. To be honest, even with all the knowledge of what people have taught me in Twitch chat, there's still so much for me to learn, as I've only really beaten Final Fantasy VII once. Anyway guys, that just about wraps things up today. I just want to say that I'm flabbergasted by how much this video has blown up since creating it. I didn't think that it was such a big deal at the time, because I just made it when I was bored. I thought it would just be some funny little Twitch clip that I could post, and it wasn't really going to blow up much because it was made on my PlayStation using crappy hardware. I never had a PC or anything to edit at the time, so I never really thought it would get any views. I've been using YouTube for many years, using multiple accounts, and it's just crazy to see that this is a reality. I mean, you guys have truly made my dream come true. And even if I don't get more subscribers, even if I don't go anywhere after this, it's still happy to see that so many people put their time into just watching my one video. So thank you all so much. I cannot say thank you enough. After getting everyone's feedback, I've learned more about this game, and to be honest, I have nothing but the utmost respect for everyone that appreciates this masterpiece of a game even 26 years later. Seeing some old video blow up like this means the world, and if you guys want to recommend any challenge or game for future content, please leave it down in the comment section. Lastly, if you ever want to come and hang out with my friends and I or watch some more content, please check out my second channel and Twitch, which are in the description. Thanks for stopping by, stay tuned for future content, and Caith Sith is the GOAT. Peace out, fellas.